The Indian Constitution and the Preamble of India. Hello to all my learned friends, distinguished guests. I would like to let you know today I would like to speak a few words about the Constitution and the Preamble of India. Well, the Constitution, before I go on to speak about the Constitution of our great country, I would like to speak to you about the history and the tradition and the rich culture of our country. India was known to be a very flourishing country with flourishing trade across all its cities, all its continents, and it was very good and well known to be very rich, with a very rich cultural heritage, rich in spices. During this time when India was flourishing with all the various dynasties and the empires that came into it, the Chandragupta Maurya Empire and various other dynasties, the Gupta Empire, and spiritual leaders like Buddhism and Buddha. This was during this time when the Arabic and the countries in Arabic established trade contacts with India. During this time, there was one more person called Vasco da Gama. He was a Portuguese from Europe, and he traveled into India through the Atlantic Ocean and sailed into India and found the Indian continent through Calicut, which is now known as Kerala. When he entered into this continent, he found that India was very rich in their spices, and he wanted to use these spices to enrich his own country. This is when he started try to establish trade contacts, and word spread far and wide, and like wildfire, that India had these rich spices which could enrich your countries. This is when there was a huge competition to establish trade routes and sea routes into India, and there were the French, the Dutch, and the British who who tried through those very same routes and entered into India. When this happened, there was a huge competition amongst them. A huge war broke out. There were everyone competing against each other, trying to establish their supremacy over one another. And finally, the Britishers established their supremacy over the Dutch and the French, and slowly they established their rule even over India. Now, the British ruled over India at the time of during the rule of Jahangir is when the Britishers got their permission to establish trade contacts in India through the sea routes. Now, they had established their rule in the year 1858. Now, from the year 1858 to 1947 is when they ruled over India. India had huge mutiny. There was a lot of resentment. Everyone is aware that the freedom struggle that India has gone through, and finally, under the leadership of our great leaders, we gained our independence on the 15th of August 1947. When we gained our independence, the leaders got together and they want to form a constitution of India. Prior to that, India was being ruled by the Government of India Act of 1935, which the act by which the Britishers ruled over India. Now, after the independence of 1947, the Constituent Assembly got together and formed a constitution under the leadership of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and Dr. Rajendra Prasad, who were the drafters of the Constitution, and our then President Jawaharlal Nehru. We got together and formed the great Constitution, by which now India is, under which all the people of India follow this Constitution. The Constitution goes on to say that the people of India have solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sui generis, socialist, secular, democratic republic. So sui generis was established that India had now sovereignty over its own country, that no other person could rule over India. A socialistic, that it was society that India would thrive and enrich itself through self-reliance, self-dependence. Secular, that India would basically be neutral towards any kind of religion. They would not involve themselves they would be secular and be neutral towards any form of religion being practiced there. And a democratic republic, that it was the people's voice that would matter in India. It is democracy, that it is the people who would decide what was good for India and what was not, and it would be ruled by democracy, that people would get together and decide for India. And a republic. The republic would mean that the voice of the people would be heard through a representation which was known as a republic. Now, after this, it goes on to say that the people of India have solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, which means that justice would be in society, justice would be economically, in finances. Everyone could have their own finances, do what they liked with their money. They could spend their money how they liked. There would be no restrictions, no one to take over their money. And also political, that anyone who would want to get into the politics or represent the people of India would be able to do so without, and there would be justice for all of them. Liberty is a freedom of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. There would be freedom to think what you like, to express your thoughts, to have a belief and your faith in your culture, in your traditions, in your worship styles, in whoever you would like to believe in, and the kind of worship that you do. Equality of status and of opportunity, that you would be equal in the eyes or in all statuses. Why this status has come into the pictures? Because earlier India, when there was a lot of time when India had religion became very stringent in India, and there were the Brahmins and the Pandits who were then dominated, and castes were created like the Shudras, the Kshatriyas, the business class people, and the Pandits, who are the scholars, who were different statuses and strata in society, which stated that someone was more higher and more learned and scholarly than the others. So this was now the Constitution of India came upon equality of status and opportunities, that everyone would be equal in the eyes, and no one would be divided in society as per their status or strata or the kind of work they did. And equality of opportunities, that everyone would have the same everyone is going to have the same opportunities, and to promote among them all fraternity. Fraternity is the dignity, to be dignified as an individual, to have dignity of your self-respect and respect in society, and the unity and integrity of the nation, that the nation have an integrity of the nation. So this, in our Constituent Assembly, this was on this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. So finally, we have this Constitution, and we'll be celebrating the Republic Day on 26th of Jan. And ये जो हमारा संविधान है, ये हमें इस संविधान के बहुत गर्व होना चाहिए, जो हमारे इस संविधान ने हमें इस देश में ऊंचा स्थान दिया है। हर कोई इस संविधान में स्वतंत्र है, वो जो चाहे कर सकते हैं, वो जो चाहे सोच सकते हैं, अपने बिलीफ्स, अपने फेथ्स को आगे चला सकते हैं, और उन्हें जस्टिस, सोशल, इकोनॉमिक और पॉलिटिकल इक्वालिटी कि इस संविधान में ये भी कहा गया है कि आपको किसी भी दायरे के अंदर नहीं डाला जाएगा कि आप एक शूद्रा हो या आप एक पंडित हो तो आपको ज़्यादा मान्यता मिलेगी, या आप व्यापारी हो तो या शूद्रा हो तो नीच जाति के हो और आपको देखा जाएगा। तो दिस वाज द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, दिस इज़ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, और आपको इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ दिए जाएंगे, कोई डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं होगा। सो दिस इज़ आवर ग्रेट कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन which I would like to which I have told you about. Thank you everyone. Thanks.